The next part that we're going to talk about is, I think, considered taboo again in today's society. It's all about sexuality, desire, and biblical convictions. How to handle complex, sensitive issues with clarity, compassion, and conviction. So, the first question is, how can we understand God's design for sexuality without being judgmental?
Okay, so whenever we want to understand something about God's design, we have to go to the book of designs and we have to go to the book of beginnings, which is Genesis, because everything we know about God and all our theologies come to us from the data set of the Bible, the information in the Bible. So when we go to Genesis 1 and Genesis 3, Genesis 2 and 3, we know that God very clearly says, let us make man in our own image and likeness, and let us make them male and female. Okay, so this theologically is called as creation. Now, all of God's creation, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, was all good, 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 and finally it was very good. So everything that God has done in His creation is perfect, is pristine, is beautiful, is good. All right. And then chapter 3 comes, and that is called as the pillar of the fall. So we have creation, we have fall, we have redemption, and finally we have restoration. So we are at the fall in chapter 3. Man has done something that God told him not to do, and that's when sin and sickness and death comes into the world. When sickness comes into the world, we have to understand sickness comes in bodily form, biological sickness. It also comes in emotional or psychological forms, mental health, yeah. And thirdly, it also comes in the genetic domain. All right. So when we are fallen, we have invited sin from all of these vantage points or disadvantage points, and the corruption of the genetic pool and genetic anomalies and genetic aberrations start coming from there. So when somebody says, I am born this way, like Jesus says in Matthew 19 about when he speaks of eunuchs, we have to go back to Genesis 3 to find out if God originally did create people that were born that way, let's say, for example, eunuchs or intersexed, or whether there was something that we did which led to that. So the Bible is very clear that God's creation is perfect and it is male and female. Somewhere in Genesis 3 and thereafter, we are opening the floodgates, as it were, the can of worms, and then all of these things come, and so we find aberrations in the idea of gender and sexuality and sexes. So that's the way to look at it. And how do we graciously say this? We just have to say it factually. We have to say it gently. We should not speak down to people. We should not be sitting on a moral high horse and be pontificating things to them. But we just have to be very factual about truth and give it to them as graciously as we can.